My parents have normal-sized necks. I know I have a very rich kid face. It's very unlikable. My friend said to me, "Eric, you just look so arrogant." And I said, "First of all, it's Mr. Walsh." And I'm quite tall as well. I'm 6'4". Well, I used to be 6'1", and then one day I took a Viagra and it got stuck in my throat. If I told you guys that I can't create images in my head, would you guys believe me? You guys know about this? Everyone knows about it?
Yeah.
They know about aphantasia now?
Yeah.
Fascinating. Maybe it's broken. Some people don't know it at all. Yeah. Anyways, I have aphantasia. I can't create images in my head. I think 1% of people have it. Remember, a teacher once told me to visualize failing my final exam. And I sounded like such a tool when I said, "I can't visualize failure." It's weird though, I think because my brain, I don't know, it works very abstractly. I think very conceptually in general. Like I can't say this definitively, but I'm pretty sure the other day this guy Pythagorean theoremed me at the urinal. He asked me how tall I am, then he asked me my shoe size. I think he took A and B to calculate the size of my C. He could have just peered over the divider, and that's what I did. I'm from Connecticut, obviously. I'm from Darien, Connecticut. It's one of those towns where even the third graders are Republican for tax reasons. And listen, I'm not trying to slander my hometown. I don't want anyone jumping out of their boat shoes. But it's a lot of pressure to succeed in like a conventional way. I believe it was this quote I love by I believe it was Carl Jung, the psychologist, not to be confused with my nephew, young Carl. The quote is, "The world will ask you who you are, and if you do not know, the world will tell you." The world told me to work in finance. By the world, I mean my dad. Here's another quote. "Dogs are awesome." It's a quote by young Carl. I did end up working in finance after I graduated from college. I'm not going to say which school I went to, but top 3, Harvard, Yale, University of Wisconsin. I wasn't a good fit for the job. I was told my email sign-off was unprofessional because I signed off with memento mori. Which is Latin for remember you will die. My boss hated me. My boss was a micromanager. He was much shorter than me, and he really did not like me, and I didn't like him. I wore my contempt on my Patagonia sleeve, but I really was a bad employee. Sometimes I would call out of work when I slept too well. Like, honestly, Dave, I got an incredible night of sleep, and I'm feeling a little over the weather. You don't deserve me at my best. Memento mori. No, I didn't like that job. I ended up leaving because I feel like I was selling too much of my time. And I'm curious, how much would you guys be willing to sell the next year of your life for? So you wake up a year, you've aged a year, but you get that amount of money. You have a number?
$1 billion.
$1 billion? Ooh. Happy person. All right. Anyone else?
1.5 mil.
Okay. My friend said 80 grand. Which I'm pretty sure was a cry for help. Because that's like 50 grand after tax. I kind of want to purchase my friend and then resell him at a higher price. It's a huge bargain. Been thinking a lot about masculinity and vulnerability as a guy. I think it's very hard to be vulnerable as a guy. I feel like, I believe it was Henry David Thoreau said that most men lead lives of quiet desperation. And I think that's true. I don't know. I feel like guys, we get physical safety. We just don't get emotional safety. Like, I can go on a walk at 2 in the morning, but I can't tell anyone why I'm walking at 2 in the morning. I was feeling a little melancholy last week, and if you're unfamiliar with the word melancholy, it basically just means lugubrious. But I decided to switch up my routine. I went to a concert at Carnegie Hall by myself. And the tickets were only $7, and I quickly learned why they were only $7. I went to a middle school recital by myself. And I had a phenomenal seat, which made me feel even creepier. I'm skinny, but I'm too lazy to get jacked. More lazy than I am insecure. Honestly, I think I would be a significantly worse person if I was jacked. I think my twink physique mitigates my grandiosity. But I have been going back to the gym recently to make myself presentable for mating season. So within the next month or two, I should be looking like a hot piece of giraffe. I've also been trying to improve my jawline, so I've been going to sleep wearing a ball gag. Nothing too fancy, just your textbook red ball gag. Khakis in the streets, ball gag in the sheets. You know, I think women should compliment men more often. Specifically me, but I have been told I can be a little intimidating though, so I've started wearing a backpack to weaken my aura. Yeah, lately my mom's been on my case about getting a girlfriend. My mother's a very nice lady, she dresses me quite well, but now she's always trying to point out attractive women in public. I'm like, yeah, she's hot, mother, but is she wise? Does she have a certain joie de vivre? Because I live in the West Village, there's a million beautiful women, but they have no zest. And I'm not trying to insult any of these beautiful women who radiate no joy. I'm just saying I'm quite a vivacious fellow. I just think it's so sad that so many people today have lost your good conversation. Like, I don't want to hear about your transformative experience studying abroad in Madrid. I want to hear what you think about my semester in Barcelona. I have a roommate. He's a man. We have different beds. We have different beds. But a couple nights ago, he came into my room at 2 a.m. to take my phone charger. And I woke up and went, oh! Because I was wearing my ball gag. I called my grandpa the other day. He used to be a doctor, Dr. Grandpa. But he also used to be a magician. He was both a magician and a surgeon. And the scariest thing to wake up to after surgery is hearing your doctor say, ta-da! He hung up the wand many years ago. But I learned recently, apparently he paid for med school by being a magician. I don't know if there was a huge magic boom or something, but I wish I had a cool story like that. I've accepted that even if I became a big success, there would never be a movie made about my life. No one wants to watch a movie about a guy from Connecticut who went from riches to riches. A kid born on third base who trotted home. I don't know. Doing comedy it can be tricky, but I'm grateful my friends and family have believed in me ever since day 982. When I first started out, they were not as supportive. I remember a good friend came to a show and he told me I was never going to make it. I said, how do you know? You've never done comedy. He said, I don't dance, but I know a bad one when I see one. And he's a cop, by the way. So back in 2020, I went to some of the protests. And I held up a sign with a picture of him that said, defund Brian. Later that night, I texted him a picture of the sign, and underneath it I wrote, Memento Mori. My name's Walsh. Thank you very much.